welcome to the first day at the Triathlon Show 2012. We're always lucky to have some very special people here, but I think probably one of the specialist people I've ever met at the Triathlon Show is a huge inspiration, Alex Flynn. Alex, it's lovely to have you with us here again. It only seems like yesterday. We were here 12 months ago, but it does seem like days, weeks. Time does fly.
Time does.
It really does, doesn't it? You have had a very interesting year.
Yeah.
You've met the Pope.
I met the Pope.
You've got another little boy.
Another little boy. Crossed Europe.
Nearly completed an Ironman.
Yeah, save for getting hypothermia, but apart from that.
And tell us what else has been happening in your life.
Well, since leaving here, I was building up to run across Europe, and that with Dave Clamp, and that happened. It was an amazing journey and an exceptional experience, one which I would wholeheartedly do again if I could. I think the major setback with running and trying to traverse 1,457 miles was I got a stress fracture in my right tib on the third day, and I carried on running on it for another 350 miles, completing the first 20 marathons in 10 days. And that was just an experience I probably wouldn't want to experience again, but it was amazing, and ended up having to ride across the Alps, which was beautiful, and just incredible vistas, and made it to Rome, and got an invitation to meet the Pope, so I did.
What was that like meeting?
I'm not the world's most religious person, so for me it was unique and slightly bizarre. There were lots of people from South America there, and everybody had a song. And you know, when all these cardinals came out, they called out names of people who were going to be blessed. And every time somebody from a group of South Americans would be called out, we'd have all these songs. And of course, there's myself and my brother. And of course, when it came round to us, we were like, "Hello, yeah, we're here." You know, so.
So did you get to shake hands?
No.
No.
But it's interesting, you know. It's bizarre, but I think the enduring memory is not one of meeting the Pope, is actually riding in the taxis now around Rome. They would make the best getaway drivers in the country. They are just 180 kilometers an hour and a 30 kilometer an hour limit, and 2 centimeters from the car in front, and nerves of steel.
And Alex, is kind of what you've gone through in a sporting sense, all that you have achieved is made all the more amazing by the fact that you do have Parkinsons.
Yeah.
And it is something that we were talking about earlier. You said has changed your life.
Yeah, I think it has given me new perspective on what I am capable of and what I'm intending to do. And I think I'm one of these. I'm like everybody else. And prior to my diagnosis, like everybody, you have all these plans and things you want to do, but you always put them off. And now I don't have the luxury of time, because I don't know what will happen. So I'm doing it and I'm living it, and as a consequence, hopefully running 10 million meters and running, cycling, swimming, crawling 10 million meters to raise £1 million for Parkinson's research, raising awareness of Parkinson's and maybe inspiring people along the way. I think that's something worth giving up my time for, and it means that I get to challenge myself and push myself that much further, which I think I took on quite a lot 11 days after doing the challenge Henley, by going out and breaking my ankle in the Otter Trail in South Africa. But safe to say the ankle is back to its usual self. I'm back running, and hopefully I'll be able to traverse America in 24 days using 5 different disciplines this May.
We'll touch on that in a minute, but I remember talking with you last year about Parkinson's and the treatment, and the stuff that's going into it, the research, and you said that sometimes you feel that it kind of gets a little bit left behind compared to say cancers and stuff where so much is being done. Do you think that's changed in a year?
I think there's been more. I think there's been a more unified approach from the different charities there's been a more concerted effort to integrate and work together, whereas prior to they were more siloed. And I think that people are more aware of the research possibilities that are out there, and I think that there is a huge amount to be hopeful for. There's some incredible advances being made every day, which allow me to be able to do what I do. And I'm grateful for every advance that we can make towards hopefully alleviating. Let's start with the symptoms, alleviating those symptoms that people with Parkinson's and other neurological problems suffer from. Give them back their independence, give them back their sense of uniqueness and humanity, and alleviate that social embarrassment that they suffer when they can't do what most other people take for granted.
It's amazing what you're doing, and how are you doing with in terms of the raising funds?
Pretty good. Last year I raised roughly just about £40,000. There's a long way to go before the million, but that means that I've just got to push harder and push further and longer and keep going until I do. But as the awareness grows, the donations come in, and it's been the reception and the response from people that I've met and people who've seen my site online has been amazing, and I'm truly really lucky and very grateful.
Tell us about your sponsoring challenges for this year.
This year I've got one principal challenge, which is to traverse 3,200 miles of the United States in 24 days using 5 different disciplines: cycling, mountain climbing, running, swimming and kayaking. And hope to do it in 24 days, set a new world record and do something unique and be the first Parkies guy to achieve something that nobody else has achieved before.
You've already got some quite good sponsorship for that trip.
Yeah, I've got Volkswagen have been absolutely fantastic and stepped up to the plate. They've promised me a couple of Tuaregs and said that they'd be willing to cover the fuel costs as well, which was amazing. And hopefully there'll be more sponsors that wish to come on board, because I think this is something unique, pretty epic actually, and a challenge which I'm actually quite nervous about, aside from the normal shake. But it's quite something.
You said earlier that you do have a fear of the water. So challenge Henley, unfortunately, the weather was against you more than anything else. It was a physical problem, but the weather that sort of held you back, and it ultimately led to you pulling out of the race with hypothermia because of your fractured leg. Most people don't put their feet up with a fracture, but you obviously decided you could walk the marathon. But that actually kind of went against you on the day, didn't it, because the weather was so cold?
Yeah, the weather was cold. The water in the Thames was absolutely freezing. But I nailed the swim, and I think what I took from that was that I challenged the fear that I had. I faced the fear. I got past that fear actually with the help of a very good friend, Andy Loveland from you're gonna have to cut this. from Early Rider Cycles. I was thinking Easy Rider, Early Rider Cycles, and he actually had a hernia, and he came down and he swam with me to make sure that I didn't panic and freak out in the water. What an absolute god! So I took away the fact that I can face my fears, I can challenge myself, I can overcome.
You have conquered the fear of water?
Yeah. My swim technique is a hell of a lot better. I got a really good coach in Russ Cox, who's an Ironman triathlete, and he spent 6 months just putting me through my paces, getting my catch better and better, and my kick more flat in the water. And I come from panicking and trying to drown myself in the water to actually getting somewhere, which is really good.
When does this challenge, trip, race, ride, run, kayak across America, when does that start?
I want to start on the 1st of May, and the reason why I've chosen May is basically because of the weather. The weather in the southwest. Come June, you've got the monsoon season, temperatures in Death Valley while running across it could be quite tricky. So I think May is a good month to do it in. So 24 days from the 1st of May from Santa Monica to Statue of Liberty in New York. I'm going to make it work.
Where can people find out more about you, your challenges, and your basically crossover?
They can find all the information at my website, which is www.alexflynn.co.uk. Thank you.
Well, we wish you so much luck, and we hope we're here in 12 months' time, sitting on the couch, talking about your trip across America.
I hope so too.
It's a pleasure as always.
Always. Thanks,
Thank
Emma.
you.
Pleasure.